what's up everyone, Rage Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always, and oh man, based Hungary is at it again, triggering snowflakes left and right. And I gotta say, this time around, no need to beat around the bush, let's get straight to it. Hungary bans gender studies because it's an ideology and not a science. Man, I'm glad at least one country in the first world understands this, because the US could definitely use this lesson as well. But for some reason, I don't see that ever happening around here. But anyway, let's get straight into this. Starting from the very first paragraph, Hungary's populist government has banned gender studies degrees citing low enrollment, which is also pretty important here numbers, that no surprise waste taxpayer money, and because it's an ideology and not a science. And this seems like a pretty logical position, but already we get the response in the second line. And you can't make this up. Left-wing critics say it's academically problematic, because of course they're going to use the problematic term, politically unheard of in a democratic society, and argue gender studies degrees do lead to jobs. And on that final point, you know what? You guys are right. Gender studies degrees do lead to jobs, but only if the government creates busy work jobs for gender studies degree holders like they're doing here in the US. And it sounds to me like Hungary doesn't want to be participating in that shit anymore. So yeah, more power to you guys. Moving on. The Hungarian government is of the clear view that people are born either men or women. And scientifically, with a few exceptions like hermaphrodites, yeah, this is true. Who's the anti-science party now, lefties? They lead their lives in the way they think best, but beyond this, the Hungarian state does not wish to spend public funds on education in this area. They did kind of misspeak here because there is no education, it's all indoctrination in this area. Minor little details here, minor little nitpicks, but overall, yeah, they're on the right path, they know what they're doing. And while they may know what they're doing, let's get to the other side. Central European University, founded by Hungarian-American liberal billionaire George Soros and one of the two universities in the country that teaches gender studies, blasted the decree as a significant loss to the Hungarian scholarly community and for democratically minded public policymakers. Really, what sort of loss does gender studies present here? You guys are gaining back valuable money, you don't have students wasting their precious time and money on a worthless degree. There is nothing but gain here. Where is the loss? Oh yeah, and speaking of loss, let's see how much of a loss this is for these poor snowflakes. The ban abolishes CEU's Hungarian accredited 2-year master's program in gender studies, which has about a whopping 20 students each year, including Americans. Really? Americans? You can't get gender studies degrees back in your home country? Holy shit, every college here has this waste of freaking space, and money, and time. But anyway, right here it said it removed their accreditation. I mean, from what I know about accreditation, having worked at a college before, they can still teach whatever the hell they want. It's just not going to be accredited. And since you can't really get jobs in gender studies anyway that aren't just busy work jobs, then that shouldn't really be a problem for most gender studies graduates. But yeah, as of Saturday, students are no longer able to enroll in the program. And yeah, they should be thanking you for it because you possibly saved their future. And honestly, I hope they actually do something productive with their future instead of going into another bullshit degree like maybe ethnic studies. Haven't heard if Hungary's also cutting back on that or if they even have it, but anyway. If you happen to be one of the few people who are into gender studies, it's not all doom and gloom. Because right here it says CEU will continue teaching and research in the field through its US accredited MA and PhD programs. Right there, you see? In the very last line, the article pretty much answers what I said earlier. All they lost with the Hungarian government is the Hungarian government's accreditation. So basically it was just a political statement by the government and a political statement for them to whine about it. Well, it could be seen as more than a political statement from the government side because it's a good sign that at least one government in this world acknowledges the uselessness of certain degree fields. Oh man, especially if the state was paying for it. Actually, speaking of state paying for it, before I sign off of this video, there always seem to be two sides to this debate, right? You pretty much got my side that says everyone should pay for their own, but then you got another group that says college should be paid for, so how about a compromise? Yeah, we can definitely reach middle ground here. How about state support for programs that are actually in demand out in the real economy, and meanwhile everyone else pays full price? And even better, the amount of government support being proportional to how many people are actually needed in those fields. So looking at it logically, if there's a massive doctor shortage predicted for the future, the state could cover 90% of the tuition for doctors, And this would logically lead to people being more willing to take that giant risk of spending all that money and 8 years of their life to get a degree in that, to become a doctor. They would at least have a little bit of security. And meanwhile, on the flip side, nobody ever needs or wants gender studies majors, so guess who's gonna pay 100% out of pocket all the time should they choose that bad decision? And so I gotta say, guys, thanks for listening.